I have joining me today on the show the one I call is my senior boss, is my senior colleague in the industry, and right now is the director of special projects for Nigerian Football Federation, the one they call Harry Iwuala. And don't forget, he's also very much involved in sports marketing. I don't know if that is official though. Harry, welcome onto the show.
Yeah, thank you, Ladi, for having me on your show for the very first time.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. The Nigerian Premier League just rounded up some couple of days ago. And if I may go back to some of the posts I've seen you posted on Facebook and other social media network, I saw that for the first time in a very long time, we saw a huge turnout in almost all the stadiums that were used for the Premier League. What is your take on the turnout? What do you think caused that turnaround in the thinking of Nigerian fans?
Well, apart from the event activities and promotional activities that surround every football as a business, the most critical element of football that attracts fans is the beautiful play. When the players play well, fans are bound to want to come and have more of them. And then again, players can only play well when you have improved tops. I can say that this past season, a lot of the stadium has seen an upgrade in their facilities, and this also enables beautiful play by teams. Just the last game in Port Harcourt, Renfrewshire United, the champions, United, the players could do everything they want to do, each because the grass was good, and of course the weather was also good.
Now, looking at the league itself, I know that Rivers United emerged champions. Which player or which team will you say stood out for you? Let's start with the player first. Which player will you say actually really stood out for you with his performance, all-round performance throughout the season?
Well, I only watch one game at a time, and I can say I was not able to see all the clubs play. But from information and data we picked up, I want to talk about two outstanding players. One is the guy that emerged the highest goal scorer, which is Chijo Bakuni of Rivers United. He's also somebody I've seen his growth in the league. Right from the amateur team to NFF, from NFF to Atlant, and eventually to Rivers United. So he's been phenomenal. And for the fact that, except the last goal he scored, one of his goals was a penalty. Of course, I recognize that penalties are also very, very good as a goal. And then he had a less surge in the second stanza of the season. He probably was around 5 or 6 goals in the first stanza, while his club mate Isaac Abiu was the one that was leading. Then by the second stanza, he gained momentum and eventually ended up 19 goals. That's 8 games. I wouldn't know how many games he actually played. I don't have that stat from Africa.
No.
And then that brings me to the second player. He's from the United, the defense midfielder, Kelechi Chimezie. Is one player he played all 38 games home and away. He was never a substitute. Neither was he ever substituted. He started from first minute to 90, which is about 4,320 minutes. He completed this season.
He never got injured throughout the whole season.
He didn't get injured, and again, talk about as a defensive midfielder, he only got 3 yellow cards, which was not enough to make it a game, because if you have 5 yellow cards, it's a game of not.
Now, Harry, do you think that the teams that emerge in the first, second, and third position, do you think they have what it takes to represent Nigeria at the continental level in CAF Championship come next season? Do you think they are primed for it? What do you think needs to be done?
When you look at the game this season, they were not part of the CAF Champions League competition very early. Then they focused on the league. I think at most the last 3 or 4 games, won a lot of games on Jerusalem. And for 28, 29 or thereabout of the target matches, they were at the top of the league. So it shows consistency. It shows that they were well planned and they have the materials to execute it, which is also what you'll expect when you play on the continent. Plateau United wasn't very far from Plateau United. Initially, they were sharing the top position until Plateau United broke the league. Remo Stars began the season playing 11 games unbeaten, and they lost momentum, they regained it again, and finished third. What is even going more for Remo Stars is the facility they have at Tikene, training ground, the playing of the accommodation where they stay, and everything. They are, I want to call them the pampered boys.
What's your take on the fact that next season we will see the Nigerian Premier League without Kano Pillars?
Well, they say sometimes the presence of the big names make a big tick. Just like asking what will you make of the season in Italy without Juventus, and it did happen when Juventus were limited to third tier. So they fought their way back to the top of the Italian league. So where you play, I mean by your performance. You cannot play Pillars play the Nigerian Professional Football League standard. Perhaps they wouldn't be where they are. So unfortunately, they found themselves in that relegation zone. So the league goes on. There's no one. The league is not built around the team. Great names like Dental Insurance who are coming back now, so gone down. Shooting Stars have been down. But of course, even talk about Harry Iwuala National has been about 4 times champions of the league. They've also gone down a couple of times. So the league and then for us in Premier League, you can go on and these teams. My figures is actually out of selection. These are big teams. So Caterpillars, they have to find their way back to get the status in Nigerian football.
All right, then, Harry, before you leave, let's hear your view on the WAFCON, talking about the African Women Championship taking place in Morocco. You saw the Super Falcons. They started with a not too good performance. They lost their opening game to South Africa. Eventually, they got sent packing in the semi-final by the Moroccan team. Thankfully, they've qualified for the World Cup. But what's your take on the overall performance of the team going forward?
Well, I don't have any emotions towards women's football. This is not saying that I don't have regard for women. I just don't fancy their football. When I watch this one is the first I've ever watched. And I see basic errors on every side of the teams. Basic errors. So it makes me, perhaps because of the football, it makes me begin to ask, is it really what is they paying for? So that alone is both the Moroccan side and the Falcons. I want to tell you maybe a basic grassroots team in Nigeria will beat them, the grassroots team of girls will beat them. Beyond that, they picked a World Cup tickets. That has been enough. They wanted the 10th World Cup, which didn't happen. And then playing 9 persons against 11 for over 50 minutes showed that they were also seasoned. They had it going for them, except for Madam Love, which comes with the penalty lot. So beyond that, they should go back and regime in back of the World Cup.
Thank you very much, Harry. It's great having you on the show today, and we look forward to doing greater things in future. Thank you very much, Harry Iwuala. That's the director of Special Projects, Nigerian Football Federation. Thank you very much.
It's a special pleasure hearing your voice again. All the times we shared in the past, and now we can only meet on the phone. So thank you very much for bringing me to your program.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Senior. It's a pleasure. Cheers. Now, NFF, back to you. You heard it from Harry Iwuala there. Basic errors. He identified basic errors in the performance of the Moroccan team and the Super Falcons. Now, if you look at the performance of Super Falcons when they started out from the 90s, they were very dominant. They were scoring goals as if it's going out of fashion. But right now, it's as if the rest of Africa have actually caught up with Nigeria. because in time past, you can never imagine Super Falcons going up against South Africa, and hey, they are not confident of themselves. They're not sure. Then you have a game against the indomitable lionesses of Cameroon, and they could just score a patchy one goal, just a lone goal. Cameroon used to get trashed by 6 goals to nil. Morocco used to get trashed by 8 goals to nil. Now we step up against Morocco, we struggle. What is happening? What needs to be done, Femi? What's your take on all this?
Ladi, I think what is happening is everybody is catching up, in this game. If you look at in those days that you said in the 90s, when we played South Africa, the Super Eagles, right? We crushed everybody, right? Apart from, let's say, the Black Stars of.
Well, I just lost
So,
Femi there. Let's quickly move on. Oh, it's back on.
and the Indomie Lions of Cameroon. That I don't think any other person in Africa could test the Super Eagles at that point in time. We don't have time for that. But now everybody can come up with Super Eagles and say, yeah. So I think that's what's happening in the female team as well. People are growing up in this game. You have teams employing coaches from everywhere. They want their team to also participate in the World Cup. They could see the funfair and they could see the monetary benefit that comes from it. So everybody is investing in it. So there's no pushover when it comes to football, whether it's male or the female team. That is what is happening. It's not like our girls are not doing well enough. They are, but the other girls are doing well as well.
But obviously, like you said, they've caught up with Nigeria. But I still feel that if you look at a country like Brazil, for instance, oh no, we're talking female football. Now, the dominant force in female football, the Germans, the Americans, the Chinese, when they first started out, then the French, they are catching up real strong right now. And if you look at the
US,
England team, you can't take it away from the English team. For the English team to be able to wallop Norway by 8 goals to nil, it says so much about
even,
that English side. Now,
even
like you rightly said, like you
they've
rightly
not won.
said, that like I know they've not won anything. Like you rightly said, they are catching up because Morocco actually employed the services of the former coach of Lyon that took Lyon to the women's Champions League final twice. That's the present
Yeah.
coach of Morocco. So we are talking about technicality here. We're talking about depth there. Now, we went for a foreign coach as well. Now, do you think that foreign coach, can you see any major input from that foreign coach in the performance of the Super Falcons before that game against Morocco when they got to being, 2 players down? Before that game, we saw them against Botswana, we saw them against South Africa. For me, not convincing. But what's your own take?
It could be their approach to the games. But to be honest with you, like these people are catching up. We can't keep blaming our own coaches or FA or that they're not getting it right. The other teams are trying to get it right too. And you only get name or you only get attention to yourself when you beat the big boys. You want to beat the Super Eagles and qualify for the World Cup? Why not? You want to beat the Super Falcons and qualify for the World Cup? Why not? You know what I mean? So, because in those days, it's only the Super Eagles. When we first came out with all these professional players in the early 90s, we want to meet any team and beat them. Even the Falcons, they were like that. Even when we had a Nigerian coach, in the Falcons, when they first started out, we still go about and beat people, but people are catching up. Like that is the problem we are
If
having now.
if they are catching up, then we should step up our game. In my own opinion, we're not stepping up. We need to step up our game because if you look at let's look at this European Championship going on in England right now. Look at the performance of the Germans. They've been out there like forever, but they are getting better and better. It's all about this
That's
because they have a structure. We lack a structure. We need to have a structure from the grassroots level. I've been talking about this for like forever, for a very long time, but nobody cares. Nobody listens. I don't know. We need to have a structure. Without a structure, nothing is going to happen in the world of sport. And you see, it's so annoying that
with
African sports administrators, excuse me, Anifemi, it's so annoying that African sports administrators are really here to understand that sport is massive business.
mm-hmm.
Sports can employ millions of African youths. Sports will help take millions of African youths off the street. Sports will help take billions of African youths off drugs, off so many, anomalies out there that they get involved in because they are idle. Engage them in sports, pay them what they duly deserve, and you will turn everything around.
That we
That
need
is
the
my own
foundation,
take.
right?
That's
The
why we need to
foundation.
have a structure. There is no structure.
Okay, if you look at
Anytime a government comes into office, it comes with its own policy. As soon as it's out of office, the next government that is coming in, it discards whatever is on table. It comes with its own agenda again. They need to have a structure that will follow. If you look at a team like a Barcelona, for instance, no matter the coach they bring in, they still play the same style of football. It's not a must we should be like Barcelona, but we can do something similar to that. We must have a structure. We lack a structure going forward. And there is no way you want success when you are doing the same thing over and over again, and you want a different
and,
result. It's not going to happen.
and to add to that, we need some, in the stakeholders too that will come in and help the government. Government cannot do everything. Right? For example, in this country,
I will put this question across to you. I will put this question across to you. In time past, we had some individuals that were involved in football administration. They were supporting football, that own football clubs. Let me break it down. We had Iwuala National. Excuse me. We had Iwuala National. Hello, calm down, Zimon. Can you calm down, please? We had Iwuala National. We had Abiola Babes. We had what's it called? New Nigerian Bank. Okay, that's an organization. But we had Abiola Babes and Iwuala National. Now, what kind of support? I'm not done, please. What kind of support did those two people got from the government when they are actively supporting football in Nigeria? Did they get any support from the government? Now, Remo Stars right now is a team that is solely owned by Kunle Shoname. He's the one sponsoring Remo Stars right now. Is he getting anything in particular from the government to boost what he's doing for sports? He's not getting anything.
Going the wrong way.
Is it tax rebate? Is he going to get tax rebate? They are not getting anything. So the government, they need to encourage corporate involvement. And the only way you can encourage it is by giving them soft landing. You need to give them something for them to bring out the money. But when they bring out the money and they're not getting anything back in return, hey, nobody runs a charity organization here.
Let me tell you something, right? The foundation is not right? There's no gain in one man owning a club. There's no gain in it. When he dies, the club dies, right? When he's broke, the club is done. So there's no point. Yes, like the stationary stores, like the Abiola Babes, like the Iwuala, they cannot continue, right? If you look at Arsenal, it could have been formed by one man or two men. But you bring people in, they buy shares in it. No man controls it. When he leaves, people carry on. The machinery is there. It's in place. That's why. But for one man to come in and say, oh, I own this club. Oh, I sponsor this club. It's all rubbish, because it determines what do I pay them as salary now. Oh, what do I give them as bonus now? I can decide to give them a car as bonus. I'm the owner. I'm this. No, that's not how they should run football club. And aside that, in sports in general, the foundation is not right. We can't just rely on government to do everything. In this country of ours, we play national lottery every day. It's not run by the government. It's run by an independent body. But
that's right.
Every week, they put something into sports development in this country.
That's right.
And there are athletes that are going to perform at these Olympics coming that are being paid by the lottery fund. They're not being paid by government. They don't work. They just face that. They're going. They know they're going to the Olympic for boxing or for rowing or for whatever. All they do is practice, and they get paid by the lottery fund, not the government. The government doesn't even know about it. So that's what I'm saying. But if we are relying on the federal government to do everything, to sponsor these athletes, to sponsor the karates, no, we're not going to go anywhere. People are going to embezzle all this money. We need proper structure. We need people who know how to run this game. People who know sports business to be in place. People like Harry Iwuala. They're young. They've been.
I ask you a question. how do you put in a structure in place if the government is not involved? There must be government
No,
involvement from the excuse me, Anifemi, from the basic.
mm-hmm,
Yes, they need to create the amenities. They need to provide the amenities. They need to provide
mm-hmm,
sporting facilities where
mm-hmm.
athletes can go and train. Are you with me? So they need
I'm
to do
with
so much. If you look at a lot of recreation centers or recreation areas all over Lagos. Talk about Lagos alone, not to talk not
you.
before you talking about the
Like,
hinterland. They've all been turned to housing facilities. All the areas that are used for recreation in time past while we were growing up, they've all turned to housing facilities. So
it's true.
how does sport grow when
It's
you are
true.
doing all this? It can't grow. Go all over England. Go all over UK. You see sporting facilities everywhere. So
Everywhere. Yeah,
there is
yeah.
provided already. And for you to buy the kits, it's not expensive to buy for you to buy kits that you want to train with. It's not a must to buy the most quality one in the market. You can always go for one that is not as good as the best one, but it's still good for money. You understand? But African players, they don't get it that easy. So I still feel, in as much as the government is not supposed to sponsor to run sports, they should put a structure in place that will be followed by
Mhm.
subsequent governments going forward. That's the only way we can move forward. Because if you look at a team like what's it called, Al Ali, for instance, Zamalek, Raja Casablanca of Morocco, they've been around for ages, and they're still
For
very
ages,
much active.
I'm telling you.
That's
That's what I'm
yes.
saying. Teams like
And that's the
Nwaya
only
National, National, if it's not for political reason, or Abiola, if it's not for political reason that they were formed, they should still be there. That's my own take. Because if I want to go into politics now and I have some billions, I'll go and take one of the clubs and say, and if any club, everybody would know me today. That's what I'm telling you. Then before you know it, you are into politics and you can just abandon them. That is what is happening, and that is where the government needs to come in, make regulation, and make sure these clubs are like PLCs. They can sell shares to ordinary people on the street. If I want to buy shares into Remo Stars, I should be able to. I say, okay, I need a 10% of Remo Stars. Would they do it? Would they do it? You might not want to do it. That's the problem we're having. I can't come in now and say, oh, I want to buy 2 pillars, but I could buy from Arsenal. I could buy 2 shares from Arsenal or just 1 share. I know I'm a shareholder there. But it doesn't happen where we come from. No, everybody wants to own everything 100%. I own this thing is 100%. So how do you expect government to help him?
You have a point there, my friend. You have a very, very, very solid point there. Let's quickly move on now because time is not